Hey everyone, welcome to Don't Stop Fidgeting, and today we're reviewing the Micro S by Focus Works. So the Micro S is developed by, it's a fidget spinner developed by Canadian company Focus Works. They do everything EDC. This particular model is made of stainless steel and weighs 73 grams. And yeah, there's also an aluminum model as well as a tungsten model, but I think the tungsten model's been sold out. So like usual, I'm gonna review this from three angles. One is the aesthetics, how it looks. Second, I'm gonna look at the handfeel. And lastly, I'm going to talk about the playability, in this case, the spin. Now, in terms of the aesthetics, okay, so it's a pretty unique design, right? Like it's sort of like triangular, but it's got these like really interesting sort of curved lines at the end, and then these three tungsten carbide balls. I think it's really unique. It's got these curved ends, and then also like there's like curved cutouts around each of these tungsten carbide balls, and the button is sort of like, I guess it's like what people call a tree stump design, and it has a little bit of depth to it. When you look at it from the side, it's not that thick. And the interesting thing is, so this one's called the Micro S, right? They have a few different models. So I think they had at one point, they had a micro, Axis Micro, and then they had another one. And this was sort of like the medium size between the larger model and the smaller model they had. And they thought this was the perfect size. I would say this is sort of utilitarian too, if I were to describe like the aesthetic. It's definitely sort of, there's fewer decorative elements, and I think it's really optimized for performance. This is where it is like factor over functionality over form. Now in terms of the hand feel, so for this for being how little, like it's actually really, 73 grams, you can really feel the weight. And I think that's because of the tungsten carbide weights, which are not as heavy as like pure tungsten, but they still have quite a bit of weight. And this whole thing is like, pure stainless steel with a sandblasted finish. I like it. Like this mini sort of like in between size, like this optimal size that they found, I think they nailed it. And the construction is really, really good. I would say that it's just like each piece feels solid. The machining feels really solid. The finishing is really nice. And yeah, and there's nothing that sort of like bothers me as I'm like touching this. It's like you can feel that this is a well-crafted, well-machined piece of stainless steel in your hand. The other thing that I really love about this is the buttons. I don't think these are very large buttons, right? I don't know, maybe 23 millimeters. But the way they created these like sort of ridges and the curve, right? Like how it's concaved. It's so pleasant to touch. Like it's just, even when I'm not spinning it, like just like pinching it, it's so good. It is one of the best feeling buttons I have. And then these like little, tungsten carbide balls. Unfortunately, they don't spin, but it's kind of nice to touch, So let's give it a spin. What is amazing about this one is, I think, again, this is stock bearing. So just the way it came out from the factory, but it's got an incredibly stable and long-lasting spin. It is amazing. I think it's because, well, I mean, I'm sure there are multiple factors, but part of it is definitely the centrifugal force that's created by these like tungsten carbide weights placed at the end, which are much much heavier than the body, right? And it's just so stable. Like there's no resistance, no hot spot or like wobble, anything like that. It's solidly crafted. And these like round edges, like I said, the design might be a little bit more on the utilitarian side, but boy does it feel good to spin this. The other interesting thing about this is the inside. So when it comes to fidget spinners and how the bearings work, there's usually two different types. There's the press fit, which is what you see normally, and then you have this, which is called the retention system. So what this does is that instead of like keeping the bearing in place based on the friction between the body of the spinner and the bearing itself, it actually has this like metal, I guess like chassis put in place, so that it's like pressed in, and then you press it in again with the buttons. And the really nice part about this is that they come with this like tiny like cute little tool to remove the chassis. Let me do it. And then so that you can change the bearing if you want. So there you go. And then you can just like kind of press the bearing out like this. But I love the retention system. I heard that more companies used to use this, but they haven't been doing it recently. Maybe because of cost issues, but it makes like swapping bearings really easily. Like I'm done already, and I love them for doing this. Yeah. And let me put it back. So I think that also contributes potentially to the stability of the spin, but it's just so fast, so stable. So in summary, this is a great piece. This is not the design that I usually go for first thing, but I can't let go of this because of just how stable and good it feels every time I spin it. In terms of the price, this one comes in at $125. It's a little bit more expensive than some of the beginner models, but I think you do get a very solid piece for that price. Yeah, definitely recommended. It's a solid piece. So yeah, that was my review. Thanks for watching, and if you like my stuff, please like and subscribe, and until next time, don't stop fidgeting.